the sight in the game, cause see the boxing voice.
Sean Zatella, the Boxing Voice, here with the Pocket Rocket, former featherweight champion and bantamweight champion. That's right. Right. Former bantamweight champion and former silver medalist in the '92 Olympics, Wayne Mccullough. How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Well, we're here in the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame tonight. A lot of great fighters on hand. Let's start with the man of the hour, Floyd Mayweather. Everybody's critical of him facing Andre Berto in September. Is that criticism just, Wayne?
No, I love Floyd. I think Floyd's probably the best defensive fighter of all time. And, the fight Berto, he's had like 3 wins in a row after he had 3 losses in a row. And I think Danny Garcia maybe deserved this shot, or Triple G said he would move to 54. But I really think if Floyd fought Triple G, if he lost that fight or won the fight, they may finish in a trilogy. And he'll get more respect for it. But, Floyd's a businessman, and he can fight whoever he wants. And I say I love Floyd. I support him 100%. And, if he can get paid $200 million to fight his next door neighbor, then he might as well do it.
What about the perspective of Floyd's coming off beating Manny Pacquiao? He's beaten guys like Canelo and Cotto within the last couple fights. He basically deserves a pass. Is that a legitimate viewpoint, or you can't give him a pass?
No, I know. As I say, you can get a pass any day of the week because he can fight anybody, and if anybody's willing to pay Floyd $200 million, I take my hat off to him. He's not paying the money, somebody's paying him. And Floyd can pick and choose who he wants to fight. And the Pacquiao fight, everybody knows it should have happened 6 years ago because I think Pacquiao was past his best, but I still think that Floyd would have beat him 6 years ago, 10 years ago. Floyd would have beat him every day of the week. I sparred with Floyd one time, and Floyd, when you spar with Floyd Mayweather, you think there's about 4 guys in the ring. He's over here.
What do you mean?
He's over here. He's so quick, and he's not a big puncher, but speed is his power because if he hits you, he's around the back, he's around the side, he's everywhere. And Floyd will go down as the all-time greatest fighter of defense. Not the best fighter of all time, I think, but the best defensive fighter ever in history.
Does he deserve to be in the conversation when we talk about?
Yeah, top 5. I think he's in the top 5 for sure. Top 3 is debatable, but I think definitely top 5 best fighters of all time.
You know boxing as good as anybody. Why is there this notion from the hardcore boxing guys, the guys that know their history, and they don't want to put Floyd up there in that top 5, top 10?
A lot of these guys don't know their history. This guy knows his history. I know my history. If you know the history of the sport of boxing, you'll know how people win world championships. Like myself, I went to Japan, won the world championship. The first Irish fighter to win a WBC belt. The first Irish/British fighter ever to go to Japan and come back with the world championship. But yet you're overlooked for the Halls of Fame and Canastota, or even here as well. That's something you did differently from anybody win the world championship, but it still doesn't get you in. So the guys that say they know the sport, they should check who Jimmy McLaurin is, or George Gardner, an Irish fighter born in the late 1800s who became the first light heavyweight champion of the world. So guys like that, if you know the history of the sport, and it's so simple today. You can go on the internet and type in somebody's name and it pops up. You can find out the history. But I've known the history of the sport because I was with Eddie Fudge. Eddie Fudge used to talk about the guys from the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, and we'd sit between fights at the dinner table, the breakfast table, and Eddie would talk to me for like 2 or 3 hours about different fighters and about fighters he trained, and I get the history of sport. Like going to college for 3 or 4 years with Eddie Fudge, that's how I learned the sport of boxing.
What about?
I was spoiled.
What about the sport right now? We love those glory days, but is the sport just fine now, and is it in good hands moving in the future?
Yeah, we've got Canelo out there. I love him. Floyd's going to be gone a few more. Maybe I think Floyd will probably try to get to about 50-0 first before he retires.
So you think he fights again? This isn't.
I don't think he fights. I think he's fresh enough. He's never took any real abuse, and he's sharp. And I think boxing needs Floyd for the next couple of years. I really do think they need Floyd Mayweather.
Can anybody beat him at welter or 154?
I think Triple G has a chance. But I really, I love Floyd to be standing right here, and I'd say to Floyd, take the Triple G fight, because you know what? I believe that Floyd Mayweather can beat Triple G at 154. I believe that Floyd can beat him. And I would love him to take that fight because it'd be, I think by taking that fight, people will see he's fighting an undefeated young guy, and he'll get a lot of more respect. And then you can say top 3 greatest fighters of all time. Maybe the best of all time. You can say that. I believe that as a person. I love Floyd Mayweather. I'm a fan of his, and I've always been a good friend too. So
closing it out, do you think he actually might take that fight in 2016, Gennady Golovkin.
He does, because Golovkin's already said he can make 154. Floyd has been up at 54. He held the belt at 54. I think he still maybe does.
He's the champ at 54, right?
He holds the belt at 54. So if Triple G said he can go to 54, I think Floyd, after this fight with Berto, this is as you say, this is like little fight on the side. Then beginning next year, maybe next May, Triple G.
Floyd Triple G. Let's see it.
Floyd wins.
You know what? What about Canelo Cotto? Do you think Canelo's...
I love Cotto, love Canelo, and I love Canelo because he's got that. He said he's from Irish descent. He's got the Irish descent. I don't know he is because Ireland fought for the Mexicans in 1846, the Revolutionary War. They fought for against the Americans. But Canelo, they stayed behind, and if you look up the Irish and Mexicans today, you see the history of the Irish Mexicans, and he's definitely got Irish blood. But I love Cotto. Cotto came back, middleweight champ of the world, but he's won people to fight at 155, 154. If you hold the belt at 160, defend your belt. I won the championship at 118. I moved to 126 to fight Hamed. I moved back to 122 to fight Morales. Then I moved back to featherweight again, then I came back down again to fight Larius. So I went to their weight classes. I didn't say fight me to catchweight. I fought at their weight class, and that's what fighters should do today. Fight at the weight class they own the belt at.
We'll finish it here because you said you like Canelo. You said
I love Cotto. I consider Cotto a good guy, and every time we see each other, we respect for each other. I think that fight is a fight that boxing really needs, and it's going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a clash of 50-50 fight. You know, anybody can win the fight, and I'm not going to give a prediction, but I think it's going to be a 50-50 fight.
The last question was, can Canelo actually pull off a victory against Gennady Golovkin if they ever meet?
Golovkin, I love Golovkin, I really do. I think the guy, you know, he'll take shots like myself I did back in the day. Take punches, but he'll wear you down, he'll break you down to the body, break you down to the head, and somebody like, who's not a Mayweather fighter, he can break you down, but Mayweather can move around and get away from that. And with Triple G against any other guy, I love him. I really think he's a great fighter, and you know, the sport needs somebody like him today.
Wayne, you're an awesome guy. Thank you so much for your time.